I'm going to introduce you to my viewers, to millions of Iranians who would like to hear some good news from you and from Victoria. I know you both are friends of President Trump. First of all, I would like Joe to introduce himself to my viewers, please.
Sure. Well, my name is Joseph Digenova. I'm a lawyer in Washington, D.C. I'm formerly the United States Attorney for the District of Columbia and have worked on Capitol Hill in the United States in the House and the Senate as a chief counsel, and have done legal work for President Trump and continue to do so for his campaign legal team.
Great. I would like to know a little bit about
Tántsing.
Victoria. Yes. Go ahead, Victoria.
I'm Victoria Tántsing. I went to law school as a single mother of 3 kids, and then I became a prosecutor, but went to the Republican convention for Ronald Reagan in 1980 and met my husband. So I moved to Washington, D.C., where I became Barry Goldwater, chief counsel for the Senate Intelligence Committee, and then Deputy Assistant Attorney General. After that, my husband and I started practicing law together and have ever since.
Fantastic. Joe, for millions of Iranians, they were hoping that President Trump stay in White House. For them, Mr. President Trump's attitude towards the barbaric regime of Islamic Republic was something they hope will help them to get rid of this regime. Now, they look at Washington, see Mr. Joe Biden, who is smiling at the Islamic Republic. In one way or the other, he's going to repeat what President Barack Hussein Obama did. So would you please tell me what's happening over there? What does frauds mean? What have they done?
Well, Ali Reza, we had a great election. The president won on election day by millions of votes. And overnight, when the counting stopped and everything shut down and millions of mail-in ballots were rolled in and counted, the election was reversed. And Mr. Biden was not officially declared the winner, but he was by the media. And now the president, along with his lawyers, is fighting to overturn the results in 6 states, either by litigation, getting to the Supreme Court, or by going to the state legislatures and asking them to send a set of electors for him. The fraud involved a lot of things, and I think I'd like Victoria to explain the fraud, since she is the expert on that.
Yes, please.
All countries around the world, to have a valid election, we all know that there has to be observers for all the candidates. I mean, that's just a basic rule of an honest election. And in the states that Joe Biden won suddenly with a surge at the end, after Trump was leading, in all of those major cities, the Republicans were prevented from being able to view the vote counting of the mail-in ballots. They were locked out. They were threatened with arrest. They were put behind barriers that were 20 feet away from where the vote counting was taking place. And so that alone is a violation of every single state law. We say our remedy, and Joe, but let me just say we're going to the state legislatures, because under the Constitution, the state legislatures, and only the state legislatures, decide who will be an elector for the state. So every one of these states, they don't even have to say we're going to say Donald Trump won. All they have to say is we will not allow the electors for Joe Biden to be voting for president. And that will put the election in the House of Representatives where Donald Trump will be reelected.
That's our hope. And the effort is being led by Rudy Giuliani and Jenna Ellis. And Rudy is doing an unbelievable job. He is simply tireless, and he's fighting as best he can for President Trump.
And you are working with Rudy Giuliani at the moment. You are one team.
Yes.
Together.
Yes, we do different things.
And
we old folks don't go out on all the state capitals every single day. Rudy's in Georgia one day, in Michigan the next, in Nevada the next. So we're staying here and doing some things back up at home.
Victoria, how optimistic you are. In a very simple
we don't
sentence.
look at we don't look at optimistic or odds. We just keep getting up every day and doing what has to be done. That's how we're dealing with it.
We believe in keep fighting to the very end, and we believe we have a very good opportunity, and we are pursuing it. We don't get distracted by percentages.
Okay, and do you think there may be recounts? Yeah, there may be in some areas, some state, we are going to see recounts of the votes?
Yes. Yes. In fact, as a result of these hearings that Rudy Giuliani has held in these various states, many state legislatures are beginning to say they've finally begun to understand the evidence, and they believe that there was major illegality, and many of them are now calling for audits and recounts.
But you have to understand, just a simple recount doesn't work, because if somebody stuffed the ballot box, you're just recounting the bad votes. So you really have to do it with a strategy of weeding out the illegal votes. That's sometimes very difficult because, for example, there's supposed to be an envelope with a signature on the outside and certain information. If they've separated that envelope from the ballot, there's no way to know whether the outside envelope complied with the election laws.
That's why it's so important to have observers inside the counting area, and that's how the scheme worked. They kept the Republican observers outside the counting area so they couldn't see the envelopes and the ballots. So what we need is what they call a forensic audit done by specialists who can look at the ballots and make decisions.
For example, I'll give you a sample of what one of the major problems is. In one of the states, and I forget which one, it doesn't matter, like 100,000 votes came in, ballots came in, and only Biden was voted on the ballot. And the election has all kinds of senators and representatives and local sheriffs and so forth. And for the ballots to come in and just have Biden's name voted on and nothing else is a real problem.
It's statistically impossible.
Joe, we are talking about how long? 3 weeks, 4 weeks, until 20th of January? I mean, how long we should wait? How long the people of Iran, they would like to know a little bit, hope that, maybe the policy will remain the same policy. Just tell us something which I can report to them also.
The electors, they meet in Washington on December the 14th. But each can be held up by the Congress if the states act and refuse to send electors. For example, if they refuse to send electors, if enough of them do, then that can hold up the Electoral College.
Its Supreme Court has got authority over this election. I mean, when the time comes, is their say would be as important as the Congress, as Senate, and
Yes. Well, we talked about we're on two tracks. We're on the one track with working with the state legislatures, and if the state legislatures act, then the Supreme Court does not have to, because it will be taken care of in an election in the House of Representatives. And because let me just add, every state gets one vote. It doesn't matter if you have 40 members of Congress or just one, you still get one vote. Yes. And in that process, the Republican will win. And the Trump will win because more Republican congressional delegations have more states. 26 to 24, I believe, is the number. But now let's go to the Supreme Court. There are constitutional issues for sure, and I won't bog you down with them unless you really want to get into a couple. But the one I just described, let me tell you that one. There's an equal protection problem. When you have two major cities like Philadelphia and Pittsburgh in Pennsylvania, and Republicans did not get to look at the election counting process, the vote counting process. But people all over the rest of Pennsylvania did. then you've got some votes treated differently than others, and that's called an equal protection violation under our Constitution. The problem with the Supreme Court is that they won't take the case unless they figure it's going to change the entire election. And so that's a pretty big road to haul.
Joe, I don't know, one way or the other, I feel optimistic. And I hope within 2-3 weeks' time, I speak to you and Victoria with a smile and you tell us the good news. Because the people of Iran, they would like to share that moment with you. I'm really grateful to you. It was lovely to see you after all these years. Thank you very much, Victoria.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ali Reza. Best to you and the great people of Iran.
Thank you for all you do.
Thank you for all you do for the people of Iran.
Thank you very much, my friend. Thanks a lot, Victoria. Thank you. Thanks.
Sure.
Take care.